US economy held steady in early January, with some regions experiencing modest declines in activity and others seeing slower growth. The Federal Reserve reported in its Beige Book survey that this has really played out in January. Meanwhile, Fed's Bullard also talked about how global economic factors have improved while inflation is set to recede this year.
And the US retail sales fell by the most in a year in December, pulled down by declines in purchases of motor vehicles and a range of other goods. Meanwhile, US business inventories increased in November as higher interest rates depressed sales, boosting the inventory to sales ratio to the highest level in nearly 2 years.
Well, moving on to the little spoken of New Zealand, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced she will stand aside for a new leader within weeks, saying she doesn't believe she has the energy to seek re-election in the October polls. She will step down as Labour Party leader in February. There will be a vote in the coming days to determine her replacement.
And International Energy Agency Executive Director Faith Birol believes that Russia will lose its energy war with the West. He also said that China and India's crude oil purchases will likely fall short of offsetting the fall in the shipments to Europe. He said the oil market's biggest uncertainty is China.
Well, and sticking to oil, the chief of the world's largest oil company is worried about global crude supplies. Saudi Aramco CEO Amin Nasser fears the world won't have enough spare capacity to deal with the current market dynamics. Aramco pumps out about 10% of the world's crude oil. He also said that China's demand for fuel is set to rise.
And in yet another news coming in from a tech major on layoffs, Amazon.com Inc. will cut some jobs in United States, Canada and Costa Rica as a part of its plan to lay off 18,000 employees. The cuts come as the retailer grapples with slowing online sales growth and braces for a possible recession affecting the spending power of its consumers.
Well, yes, and the Philippines has grappled with heavy rain, flooding and landslides since the beginning of January. At least 28 people have died in January, according to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. The president has declared an official state of calamity in the southern province.
And in a tragic event, 7 people, including Ukraine's Interior Affairs Minister, have been killed after a helicopter crashed in a kindergarten in an eastern suburb of the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. The 3 main figures in Ukraine's Interior Minister, who include the Interior Minister, his deputy and the State Secretary of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, were among those killed. President Zelensky spoke about the accident and called the deceased true patriots.